Welcome back. You're watching Fox and Friends First. A Fox News alert for you. At least 290 people killed in a coordinated terror attack on Sri Lankan hotels and churches celebrating Easter Sunday. Well, several Americans were among those killed, and 24 people are now arrested in connection with the blast. Here now to react is former Naval Intelligence Officer Don Bramer. Don, thank you so much for joining us. We certainly appreciate it.
Good morning, Heather.
Let's just begin with your initial attacks on what happened. Your initial thoughts.
You know what this is a constant rise in what we're seeing in attacks against Christians, Catholics, and worshipers across the world. We've had a 17% increase since 2017 in churches, in cathedrals, that continues to rise, but yet some still don't want to call this what it is. You know, these are not Easter worshipers, these are Christians, these are Catholics. On what should be a day of worship and joy, now we have nearly 300 families who will forever think of this as a day of terror.
Yeah, we brought up just a screen there of some of the attacks that have happened, as you mentioned, since 2017. In these latest attacks, you know, what do we know about the 24 people so far who are under arrest?
Well, you know, I will applaud the government there in Sri Lanka. You know, last night we had only 7 people who were arrested. Their fast-acting response to this is why we went from 10 to 24 in just a short time. So I applaud them for that. The sad thing is they had a little bit of warning that they didn't act on. The nation's Tawheed Jamaath group, you know, had been rumored to be part of this. What we're seeing is this is a rise in ISIS. You know, earlier this year in January, there was a church that was attacked in the Philippines. Late last year, we had one in Indonesia. As these 6,000 ISIS fighters have disbarred across the country, we're going to start to see these types of actions more and more in the future.
Yeah, they received an advisory about a week and a half ago about a potential threat. The other thing not really being addressed so far, what we don't know about the attacks, is why Catholics appear to have been singled out in these particular bombings in Sri Lanka.
Well, the Catholics are a small group there in Indonesia, but we also saw a lot of other soft targets, you know, hotels. You know, what most people haven't said much about is the idea that there were supposed to be 9 attacks, 9 bombs that were planned. One was disfused near the airport.
So in terms of what the lesson that we need to take here at home, because I also understand that ABC News received a copy of a warning that had gone out, which is a warning that does go out during high holidays, the Easter season.
Sure.
There was no specific threat mentioned, but yet there was the warning that went out that said, you know, be on alert, and churches across the country did that yesterday.
Well, as tensions rise and as ISIS has disbanded across the globe, you know, all of us need to stay alert. We need to understand that these type of targets, whether it's shopping centers, whether it's places we worship, you know, our faith is going to continue to be tested here. You know, we have to be alert and keep our eyes open for what may be around. You know, it's that one small thing that if it makes you feel like it's not right, it's probably not. What
can you do, though, in advance when you receive a warning about a potential threat, but really no other intelligence other than that?
Well, you know, we must always assess and gather as much information as we can. You know, one little leak does not verify it, and you need to have that completely, you know, verified before you act on it. But I think in today's world, we have to take every bit of information serious and credible and call it for what it is. It is terror, and these are extremists that will continue to strike until we do something. Is
this actually legitimately an increase in attacks on religion, or are we just reporting it more? Are we more knowledgeable about it?
You know, I think, Heather, it's a little bit of both, to be fair. You know, with social media, we do hear more of the news is quicker to respond. So that's a fair count. But I do think that there's been a response. You know, you look around the globe, whether it's small acts of vandalism, you know, in Indonesia itself and in Sri Lanka, you know, temples have been desecrated. In the United States, crucifixes, small churches have been spray painted, and we've seen a rise in church fires here in the U.S. You know, this is something that seems to be an increase, and it is an attack on these lone wolves, people who are attacking, you know, Christian faith for who we are.
Yeah.